Hi everyone. Let's give a few more minutes to folks.
Ishurulas.
Yeah, I hope people are trying the right link.
There are two links on the calendar
Still?
event.
Yeah, my calendar is showing a different link, so I had to go to the Slack channel to see what's the latest.
This is, yeah, somehow the intent is never delivered. I need to cancel maybe the whole series and create a new one. Yeah, there are two different meetings listed here. I don't know how this happens. All right, I think we can start. As usual, we will start with the 5G essay update.
Yes, Ulas. On the P0 test cases, Ulas, now all the tests are passing except for one known issue. So, Yogesh, you want to give an update on the progress you made today? Yogesh?
Yeah, Suresh, am I audible?
Sure.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, so I think we are, on the weekend we got a message to check this two-digit MNC, so that looks fine on our setups. I think next what we were planning was the P1 test cases and whatever is the spillover part of P0, like release of the IP address and some other like some switch case statement. So all those small things we are taking over, and
I cannot hear you very well, Yogesh. Are you saying we have, the unsymmetric MCC, that should also pass? No, it is not passing. Is this what you are saying?
no, we tested 2-digit MNC during the first.
That is passing. That is fine.
Yeah. Yes. And we are testing the spillover. We are doing the spillover things like this IP release, where the session goes down, switch case statements. So whatever the P0 cleanup was pending, we are doing that.
Okay, but the P0, there is no failing P0 test case, no? I mean, these are just the nits, basically, the cleanups that we're missing, basically, that they don't fail the test, but we know that they need to be handled as well.
Yes, absolutely right. So we found some issues.
So one issue is IP deallocation that is not happening in the session termination time. What is the other issue?
There was this switch case goof up. I think starting new switch case.
Oh, that is the switch cases. It is just a nit, basically, to clean up, not functional, but okay. Just the coding style that I suggested. Okay.
Right. So all these spillovers we are checking.
What about the asymmetric, the MNC, MCC values, particularly asymmetric MCC value? Have we tested that? Currently, we are testing with 222.
Yeah, meaning somehow we saw the TerraView folks saying okay to it. So
did they check it? I don't think we have the test case that tries something else than 222. Oh, there is actually 1 second.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
I missed that message. Okay, that is good. So it is passing also with non-symmetric ones. Okay, then although then we are fine with the P0 test cases. Just do the deallocation of IP address. And if you can update the PR today, we can build a new binary.
Sure, less.
As such, the IP address deallocation is a non-blocker. For that reason, can the partner go ahead and start testing?
Of course. Yeah. It is not a blocker for that reason. I was trying to get to the bottom of what is missing from P0 items, because if it is in the P0, then it is a blocker. But it looks like we are fine with all P0 test cases.
Right. And we captured this issue. Yogesh, is the GenHub issue created for this IP address deallocation as part of session release?
Yes. I can share it after the call. The issue is created.
Let's fix it with a little lesser priority because it's a non-blocker. Ulas, the big thing for us now is the code that is positioned for merge into the master, and as such on a couple of other PRs that
I would actually not deprioritize that. I mean, that's not have that fall through the cracks. It is an easy fix. Basically, Yogesh already knows where to touch for that. Let's do that, basically finish it today. I don't think it makes sense to postpone that issue.
Okay. Yeah, the big thing for us is to merge the code onto the master rules. As such, earlier you have given comments on a couple of PRs. Now those comments are resolved, and today we have a single PR position for review for the entire Magma 5G code. And from 5G branch, whatever fixes we have on the P0 cases, all those fixes are also backported into the PR that is positioned for master. So that needs to be reviewed and merged onto the master rules. So if you can allocate some time to review that because it's a bigger one and you have so many things on your plate. So if we can target it for the next 1 week.
Yeah.
That-
Can you update the 5G channel and pin all those PRs? Update them.
One today, Vilas.
Yeah.
All are merged into only one now.
I thought you wanted to submit the proto stuff separately because I don't like the fact that if there's a one big PR, then we have too many code maintainers need to be stamping those. And 95% will be irrelevant for, let's say, someone who just wants to check your proto definitions and service implementation. Let's say on subscriber DB, but they don't care for the rest basically.
Got it.
So you even put the DS test scenarios in the same PR?
DS tester separate. So far we thought they can be independent. I think we can merge them. There is no constraint between both.
Okay, so what I suggest is I see a bunch of pin stuff, but some of them are stale, I think. On the project 5G channel, clean up all the comments, basically all the pinned messages that are no longer relevant. And just put the list of PRs that needs to be reviewed.
Yeah.
Let me check that big PR. If there are some obvious cutting points, I can suggest how to split that PR into more PRs.
Sure.
So as long as it doesn't create regression on the 4G path, and as long as it builds, basically, that means I think we can divide it into multiple PRs in any fashion we want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you are saying, you are facing build issues if you split them up. Is that the concern?
No, Lars, as such, see, the code is wired, multiple branches and dependencies, right? Say, if we are to keep some chunk isolated, then we need to end up putting some stubs. Say, instead of a real function implementation, we need to have some wrapper. And then that's where the dependency on the other routines and from other files gets cut. So it is turning out to be too much of a overhead.
So what I certainly suggest is one thing that won't qualify for what you are saying is proto files.
Yes. Proto files.
And auto-generated files. You can just submit that as the first PR.
Correct. Yeah.
So is there a PR like that so far, or?
Yeah, in fact, go ahead, Yogesh.
Yeah, this subscriber proto, we made some changes. So that is the only PR which has a proto change. I think that the SMF PMF, I think proto is not changed, but let me just double check.
Yeah, and I suggest basically, I mean, you can do in the same PR. I think it is the same set of maintainers that will look into those folders, proto definitions. Yeah, I mean, you can put all the protos that you have touched on subscriber proto or session day or pipeline day. Yeah, put them all in the same PR. we should have a quick review of those and land it.
Yeah. Can we move on to the next one, Ulas?
Yeah.
I want to discuss on the unit tests, Ulas, on the AMF, basically on NGAP. We started putting together unit tests. And now, how do we take them into CA environment? Can Rashmi or someone in the team, sorry, not Rashmi, Ranjani or someone in the team give us a plan?
Aren't they on the MME test directory?
Yeah, they are all in MME, the test directory. So
If it is there, it is automatically run. You don't need to do anything special if you updated the CMake files properly.
Yogesh, can we look at the CA logs once to make sure all these tests are run?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Because we created this new directories, so like AMF and NGAP. So in the output, we are getting the result. Yeah, but I'll make sure they are input.
But it is under the same hierarchy, I mean, it is under the test directory, under which
Yes.
there is ITTI, MME app, etc. and so on. You just created an NGAP directory under there.
That's correct.
Yeah, I mean, if you included NGAP directory in the CMake file under the test directory, if you include that directory, then it will automatically pick up.
Yeah, so that is already.
I mean, I am adding unit tests for 4G following the same pattern. I mean, there is nothing special for the 5G path.
Finally.
Okay.
Yogesh, you want to give an update on the progress going on with P1 cases, the negative scenarios?
Yeah, so basically we targeted two main things. First is the multi-GMB support, and second is the
There is a lot of info on your voice.
Yeah, maybe I think I can log off and log in. Give me a sec.
Yeah, I cannot understand what you are saying, Yogesh. Are you using a headset? Maybe remove it and try speaking without it.
Okay. Ulas, I give you an update quickly. On the P1 test cases, UE idle mode support was failing, and Vinay started looking into that. So for that reason, we are not duplicating effort on that. And as such, UE initiated periodic registration update also was passing earlier, but now on the latest code we have that is staged for merging to the master. On that, we prepared a build and try to test it. And as such, we could not test it on DSS environment because the environment is broken. And as such, the package creation has some issue. It is going on for the last 4 or 5 days. We tried debug the issue from our side, and I think at this stage we need intervention from the CI team, maybe team or someone to look into the issue. And as such,
you are having an issue in terms of creating the package, the build. I can create the build on this. I mean, at least as of Saturday.
As such, Ulas, build is happening, and as such, when the package goes for installation on AJW node, we are running into issues.
During the installation, are you seeing package dependency related errors?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a recurring thing. I mean, so you are seeing this on the ES tester environment. We have been seeing the same issue on the SIT as well.
Yeah. A GenHub issue is created and assigned to team last Friday on this. So we are clueless whom to reach out, so we reach Tim on that.
Yeah, I mean, one thing on the SIT environment, Matt basically created a fresh new machine. I mean, it may be the case that since you have been moving basically a lot of binaries, the base stuff might be quite old there, whatever you have been using. And Tim was also saying some packages basically were deleted on the Artifactory side, I think. I don't know how that has happened. But okay, I will also ping Tim on this issue. But in terms of user experience, this installation basically, there is a non-uniform experience on that. Tarek, shall we take an action item on that?
Yeah.
Hi, Ulas, it's Prabina here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like all third-party libraries packages are not going to that creation package.
Okay.
Just like all third-party libraries packages.
And you cannot install them by hand as well, manually?
No, it's taking long time, like dependence to dependence. That like.
So cyclic,
Okay.
not
Yes,
hierarchical.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, we may end up nuking that machine and create a fresh new one.
Creation of a new machine means as such, Vitali tried rebooting the node and then taking out the VM and creating a fresh VM.
And that also failed?
Yeah.
And which stretch channel are you guys trying?
Okay.
So is this the install script that is failing, or is it the package comments basically failing?
Is Rupa on the call? Rupa, can you let us know what script are you trying?
So this is bare metal install for 1.5.
These are installation on VMs that
Okay.
Fred and Firefox has set up for DS testers.
Ulas, I'll get an input from Rupa on Slack for this.
Okay.
Rupa, she's not there yet. Rupa, what script are you using to install AGW on DS tester?
I'm using latest Magma package, Magma 5G package.
But how are you installing AGW? Are you using that install script?
No,
And there
no.
are some. So I am trying to understand, when Matthew prepared the machine, was he able to bring up Magma access gateway or not? I mean, what is your starting precondition?
Update, I think she needs some input.
I couldn't get your answer, Suresh.
I will update Ulas.
Are you update? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I want to understand two things. I mean, what is installed as a precondition, whether the Magma services are running or not, and which version it is running.
As such, services are not up, that is for sure. And yeah, version, yes, I'll find out.
And what
Yes,
were the
Ulas.
steps used?
Ulas is Vitalis provided the test machines. That machines only OBS is running and not in other process. Then Upa he was trying to install in the whatever packages, but that packages is not there in the third parties all packages. So this packages, all dependency packages are not there in the that machines, new machines.
So is Vitali following the bare metal installation
No, I don't
procedure,
think so.
and he is failing there, or I mean, I am just trying to understand the whole process.
Yeah, I did not get it bare metal, HW installation or post installation script. I did not get actually that machines.
Okay, let's take this offline. I don't think the communication channel is also have a high quality at this. I am having really hard time to understand what Pravina and Yogesh is saying.
Yeah,
All
Ulas.
right.
Other than that, on 5G, we are implementing the timer support. So the timer expiry and then retransmissions is what we are testing now. The goal is to finish the registration related timers work sometime this week.
And I mean, we were talking about doing all these P1, etc. item on the master branch, but given the time, again, I think we will end up testing those things on 5G branch.
That will be the case, Ulas, at least on the timers.
Okay. All right.
That's all,
Okay,
Ulas.
sounds good. Are there any questions from all the participants on the 5G stuff? If not, let's go to the next agenda item. Lionel, are you on the call?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about MBIoT plans, or do you want to postpone to next week?
We can start to talk. Yes, the story is that I didn't have time to make some PowerPoints, so I have the Google Doc that I can present to you, but it's not maybe not very convenient. But
Yeah, Google Doc is fine also if you want to quickly go over it. Is it a publicly shared document or a private document currently?
I shared the link into the chat.
Maybe what we should do is put it in the Linux Foundation's Google Drive, so that everyone who have access to there basically can start commenting as well.
Yes.
I mean, I can do it for you if you want. Just let me know, or I can give you the location and you can edit yourself.
Okay, if you can do it, that's fine. But actually, it is a public for anybody can comment it.
All right. Do you want to go over it? Share your screen, maybe?
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes. If you can make it larger.
Yeah. Wider. Not this one.
No, there was just below it, there was a percentage, like 100%, that showing the scale.
I lost. Sorry. Yeah,
just below it, yeah.
Ajuster
Just make it 200%.
Yes. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I think this is better.
So it's not maybe. Okay, let's try this. Okay, 200%. Okay, this is a draft document. So concerning the introduction of NB-IoT, Ulash asked us to separate it into two phases. One phase is for, let's say, the control plane. On the second phase, we should introduce the user plane. So the first work, in fact, so maybe it is not necessary that I present some features of NB-IoT, I imagine. It is fine for everybody. The story with the OAI team is that OAI team, let's say my chief, wants to implement EMTC. So on the Facebook wants to implement NB-IoT. So maybe I will have to remove also these EMTC features words into these documents. But more or less there are some, of course, overlapping items between them. So the first work we had to do is to split to decide which features goes into phase 1 and which goes into phase 2. So for that we took the table we can find into the 3GPP technical specification 23.401 in annex, and we expurged some items and we reproduced this table more or less in this document here. So the idea is that everything that is optional actually in phase 1 does not go in phase 1, and maybe some interesting features that are maybe high level or maybe complicated features in control plane are postponed to phase 2. So, for example, the control plane data specific NAS level congestion, we propose to postpone it into phase 2 at least. Concerning, for example, robust header compression that is available in DS tester, it is statu quo. Actually, we do not propose something unless we find an open source library that will be easy to integrate, unless if nobody asks for ROC, we don't plan to implement it for today. So I didn't put the keyword no because for me it was unreadable. So just put yes when we do it. So as we say, the control plane in phase 1, everything related to control plane. Some also, you can see some features that are already implemented, of course, IP address allocation, something like that. We will present the scenario after. So we have the normal attach here. The attach without PDN connectivity is postponed to phase 2. TOW procedure, sorry, will be proposed to phase 1. Service request procedure will be proposed into phase 2 because it has some infringements with user plane, so it is better to handle it in phase 2. Here I put some question if we really want to, if we have time to implement this connection suspend procedure and connection resume procedure. Of course, you have to comment. And of course, the detach procedures that we all know, the NAS security function that we already have. Okay. So, of course, the UE capability handling is important for the node B for requesting the UE capabilities. Okay. on the DRX parameters also into phase 2. The scenario that we propose here, the first scenario is this one, is a scenario that we got from the DS tester examples. So as you see, it is very similar to a 4G scenario. You have a PDN connectivity request into the ESM as a ESM message. So security authentication security is the same. So the addition here is this new message connection establishment indication to set that the S1 link is established between MME and the eNode B. Okay, and here we will handle the ESM data transport that we will decode properly in NAS, but we will drop because in phase 1 we don't handle, as I said, the data plane. Okay, so it is. I wanted to start with this scenario to implement this with Moit because it is very similar to the 4G scenario. There's a slight modification, but I think it will be easy to handle. So following this scenario, there's tables describing the additional modifications that are necessary to handle this scenario. So it is not much detail, but it is a first draft. So you will be able to see these items here. Well, for example, in this tester, you have this QCI4. Okay, we have to adapt. These are details. Some things are already done in 4G for concerning ubiquity information. Okay. So we have already IEs that are implemented in the actual 4G. We just have to test maybe some bits or maybe add the few IEs in S1 AP and on NAS. The next scenario that we propose is let's say a bit different, as you can see here. It is a scenario that is extracted from the same specification 23.401 at this section. You can see here. So it is a bit compacted here. So it may use retrieve UE information S1 AP message on the UE information transfer. Otherwise, you can see that the difference here is that in the initial UE message, you had the ESM data transport here itself. So the data is already in the initial UE message. So depending if it is required, because you have already a context, it is required we do the security procedure or not. Then right after the security procedure, you transfer the data. You should be able to transfer the data on the user plane, and then send the connection establishment message to the node B with UE capabilities, for example, and then release the S1 link. So the assumption here is that there is no that's just uplink data. If there is some downlink data that is requested, depending also from the request of the UE. If he's waiting for downlink data, if he knows it, the scenario is a bit different. We also, of course, send a wait for downlink data to come, and then we release the procedure. So it should be depending of what we decide concerning this uplink or uplink and downlink. Of course, we can duplicate the scenarios on the test case. Okay, these are the items to be done. So I did not have time to do the TOW. The TOW is a bit special here because yes, in Magma with 4G we don't the TOW, the normal TOW is not implemented. We just handle the periodic TOW. From which when we receive it, normally, if I remember well, we send back a TOW reject. So I have to clearly think about how we can how can describe this the work to be done here?
Yeah, I mean, definitely this non-periodic tau support, we should basically start bringing it onto the master branch. Actually, is Prithvi here? I think she has a day off, so so I asked basically our releases team to look into bringing other modes of tau into the picture, so we can do it maybe in parallel.
Yeah, but yes, in tau, if after the IEs are more or less the same in the attach, so I don't. After there are a lot of details, but they have to be described also.
Okay.
On phase, yes, just to say here, just to conclude, because I didn't do the work for phase 2, but what is delegated to phase 2, I already said that is the service request. You retrigger service request on the network triple service request. That makes more sense for me to put these scenarios into phase 2.
So Lionel, this is all good, but as far as I see, so far all the call flows are between the UE and MME, but I don't see the other dots getting connected, like how the actual messages are being passed onto MME. So can you also clarify that in this document?
How I didn't catch your point. How the message are passed to the MME?
Yeah, messages for IoT devices. You know, there is basic control plane
Yes.
support for that. I thought this was the focus on phase 1, and supporting the user plane based message passing. Basically, I was thinking as phase 2. So I see slightly you did a different thing, like in terms of the phases, but still, I mean, I don't see how the messages are actually being delivered or retrieved from the IoT devices to the backend systems. I mean, let's say the data comes in, we decode on the MME. Okay, we have the IoT devices data, but then what?
Yes, after, of course, we have to transfer them to the gateway, to OVS.
Yeah.
Normally, it is a S11U.
Not necessarily obvious. If we are gonna support this as a control plane solution, we should probably, assuming again we are gonna support standard interfaces to talk to those IoT gateways, we may have to involve federation gateway actually for control plane stuff.
Okay.
So we have the full end-to-end call flow. Okay. And then see all the standard interfaces that needs to be supported in an end-to-end fashion, and then we can come back and define phases for the access gateway, phases for the federation gateway, and have a plan, basically a testing plan around it.
Okay. Also, maybe a bit of detail, but also the S11U interface, for example. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
that is 11U in our case will be still a control plane type of messaging.
Yes.
Yeah. So we shouldn't be passing things back to the OVS layer unless we install the bearers, etc., and then with the transfer happens through those bearers. If it is strictly in the control plane, yeah, we need to figure out how to implement those S11U on the control plane side.
Okay, I catch a good point for the signaling in the backend. Okay.
Yeah, currently we have, for example, SMS support, but that is purely an API-based support. I mean, we have an orchestrator API where you can send SMS messages to the mobile terminal. Unfortunately, it doesn't support the reverse path. We cannot pull the messages coming from the mobile terminal. But there is also one way of doing these things. We should just discuss, what we are targeting, and maybe we should also talk to our partner engineering team to get some requirements and use cases for interested parties.
Okay.
Are there any feedback, comment from anyone? Suresh, on your side, I mean, are there any partners who is interested in NB-IoT features? Have you heard about any such demand or request?
No loss. NB-IoT as such is a use case for some of the customers asked in the smart city solution space. However, even those are primarily related to the smart poles, and it was a telco doing the deployments again in California region, nowhere else, and they also have contemplated analyzed between Sigfox, LoRaWAN versus NB-IoT. Somehow, in that situation, they were debating on the solution cost per message. So the discussions were not mature. I will let you know, Lars, in case they have affinity to go towards NB-IoT. But definitely, their initial analysis is that cost per message on LoRaWAN is smaller compared to NB-IoT.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a LTE infra, and if you are just doing the IoT-based stuff, the cost will be much higher.
Yeah.
But if you already have the LTE infra, then the Delta edition, I mean, it is readily there. Basically, it should be more or less a software upgrade.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there. As such, they're looking at it in a different way, Lars. As such, in a given geography, what is the coverage area available for NB-IoT and also to Sigfox and LoRaWAN? If LoRaWAN coverage is available in a given geography, I think their analysis is that only 7% of US geography is covered with LoRaWAN. Even then, in those regions where LoRaWAN is available, they are more biased towards that as of now.
Okay. Oh, it sounds good. So the action items on this, Lionel, yeah, I mean, let's get an end-to-end picture from the spec point of view. And I will reach out to our partner engineering team to see who is interested in this use case and understand their requirements. All right. We have few minutes left. Are there anyone who wants to bring up any open issue? Okay, if not, let's close the call. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.
Thank you all.
Thank you.